100 billion euros. That is the amount that the world needs every year to protect nature, and yet we are investing only 100 billion euros. Let's meet BIOFIN project. BIOFIN-EU is a European Union funded project aiming to bridge the gap between finance and nature. I am Alexia Mastora, Communications Manager at Reino, and today I have the pleasure of hosting John Garvey, Professor at the University of Limerick and also Coordinator of the BIOFIN-EU. Hello John, and welcome. Let's introduce BIOFIN to our audience. If you had to explain the vision of the project to someone who had never heard before about the biodiversity finance, what would you say?
Yeah, biodiversity finance is still a very new concept. It's this idea that private finance can be redeployed and used in a way that protects and restores biodiversity. For the past 200 years, we've built a big, complex and very effective financial system that moves money around the globe quickly and efficiently. But it's had very negative impacts on ecosystems and on the protection of species. Since the 1970s, the planet has lost 70% of its wildlife population. And we see, in terms of economic activity in Europe and in elsewhere, the impacts it's having on rivers and on other very sensitive ecosystems. So our job within BIOFIN, it's to respond to a European call for research, looking at how mainstream finance, which is everything from how our pension funds are used, how banks make lending decisions, how companies evaluate new projects, and perhaps then redesign projects so that they're more sensitive to the protection of nature. So it's a very ambitious and complex problem that we're taking a look at.
And also a compelling vision, I would say. We often hear about biodiversity from a biological or an ecological perspective, but BIOFIN look at that through the lens of finance. What exactly is the biodiversity gap and why it has become such an urgent topic?
I think, certainly over the past 30 or 40 years, we're seeing the speed at which money moves around the planet to identify and drive resources towards economically viable projects. That's having a very detrimental effect on the planet. That biodiversity finance gap really describes the total flow of money towards activities that are having a negative impact on biodiversity and what is required to protect and restore biodiversity and ecosystems. And the European Union has built a set of rules and definitions around what good financing looks like. And we're at the very early stages of that, and some of it is still contested in terms of what those rules should look like. But in BIOFIN, we're trying to help financial institutions operationalize that. So for a bank that's making loans into agriculture, how can they take account of local ecosystem conditions, let's say for a river system, and how can they promote the protection of that ecosystem for a borrower, for example? So how can they have the tools to tell a farmer, look, you need to protect a river in a particular way and we can support you in doing that, or there are other ways to do that.
Thank you for clarifying that, very interesting. A core part of your work is promoting nature-based solutions. Can you tell us what they are and why they are considered as an attractive opportunity for the financial sectors?
Yeah, so nature-based solutions are a kind of a holistic way of describing particular types of innovations that protect nature, but also enhance the quality of lives for people living in local areas. So typically a nature-based solution can be viewed in contrast to a conventional type of solution. So when we're, for example, typically concerned about flooding risk, towns and cities build dams, grey infrastructure to protect against sea level rises or river floods. Nature-based solutions offer different alternatives. So rather than building grey infrastructure, which aren't really sustainable through future climate change scenarios or from a nature point of view, a nature-based solution will promote the slowing of rivers upstream from a town, providing habitats for local migratory birds, potentially improving tourism revenues and creating other opportunities for communities and actors. And then farmers can earn revenue from slowing the river rather than the funds going into grey infrastructure.
That was a clear picture. One of the most important objectives of the BIOFIN-EU project is the NbS Dashboard. How this tool can bridge the gap between potential providers of nature-based solutions and the mainstream financial institutions?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are looking at the dashboard in different settings and potentially providing a value proposition to different actors. So I'll give you one example. So within the context of agricultural lending, when a farmer is approaching a bank for a conventional type of loan, neither the farmer nor the bank have really good information on what type of vulnerabilities are on the farm in terms of access to water quality, and so on. And they don't know what habitats they may be having an impact on. So the way in which we envisage the dashboard is as a very simple decision support tool. So when the farmer is making a loan, they identify the geographical area of the farm footprint itself, and then external objective data is overlaid on top of that. And it provides both the farmer and the bank with a view on what biodiversity looks like. And then the dashboard introduces a third party, an ecological expert, who can go in, make an assessment, and the farmer can undertake some protection activity. That can be either publicly financed or could be embedded within the loan. And it gives the bank confidence that the loans that they're making are not having a negative impact. They're doing no significant harm, using the regulatory language. And also from the farmer's point of view, they have greater knowledge that the business model that they're building is far more resilient going into the future and is having a net positive impact on the environment.
Thank you for sharing that. John, the project works with 10 different learning sites across Europe and North America. Why was it so important to include this real-world location in the project?
Yeah, we've learned such a huge amount. Some of these learning sites are European LIFE-funded projects, and they've developed really innovative ways, not just of identifying what type of restoration has to take place, but developing ways to monitor the impact of that restoration, ways to recruit landowners into their schemes, and so on. So we've learned a huge amount about what is required for an effective nature-based solution and how to best communicate and incentivize people to participate in these innovations.
Thank you, John. Thank you for being here with us and sharing your knowledge.
Cheers.
And also a heartfelt thank you to all of our audience. In the next episode, we will be traveling to the learning sites to meet the people who do the work on the ground. For more BIOFIN news, don't forget to visit our website and follow us on social media. Until the next episode, thank you very much for listening.
BIOFIN-EU